What's up, everybody? Mike here, aka I Got This, back again for another Fiendcast. We got a full house of East Coasters. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Hey, this is Blake, aka Bad Comic Books.
What's up, Matt, aka Fly Guy 91?
Matt, first time on the Fiendcast.
Gotta love it.
Welcome,
Matt.
man. Matt, you were Matt. Where are you from again? Virginia.
Yep, Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
Virginia. So, I guess that's the East Coast, not the South, right?
That's debatable.
Oh well. All right, so let's see if we got anybody coming in and joining us. A couple of things to talk about tonight. Obviously, we there's a lot of cons this weekend, a lot of big news. Tonight we got the last episode of Game of Thrones, which I'm going to throw that plug out there right now. That after tonight's Game of Thrones episode, we're going to come back on and we're going to discuss everything we felt about the last episode of Game of Thrones, full of spoilers. So definitely check that out if you're up and around for that. So yeah, let's talk about Comic Con. Matt, you went to a small local Comic Con this weekend.
Yes, I definitely did, since I didn't get to go to any of the big cons that everybody else, like East Coast Comic Con. I went to Tidewater Cards and Collectibles Con. It was really small. It was, I took it with a grain of salt. It was awesome, I guess. It had books. I found some fillers for my Amazing Spider-Man. Met up with another East Chapter member from Virginia, DC Deadman, Shane.
Awesome. All right.
So definitely got to hang out with him. It was awesome. Yeah, there was one issue with the books. It was kind of disappointing. I got to talk to the guy running the actual con. He said, yeah, somebody backed out. They had about 10 long boxes of comics that he ended up selling, so we're definitely short supply. But on the next con, they'll have more. I think it's just a little up and starting convention.
When you have those smaller cons, it's limited. Those tend I love going to those ones because there's just a bunk. It's just comic books, and you're just digging through bins, and maybe there's some wall books, maybe there's some big books around, but it's mostly just digging in, back issue dollars, and it's usually a bunch of local comic book shops and stuff. So that's cool. I love that kind of stuff. I know there's a lot of those in all over the place, and I know there's a lot of members that do that. They just go like once a month to these small cons.
Yeah, like I said, since that dude backed out, was the main focus this time around. They said was just the cards, baseball cards, and all that, Pokemon cards.
Oh,
So
really?
I think there's about a total of 10 boxes to go through. I did find some fillers for my Amazing Spider-Man run, 1 through 700.
Nice.
I found about 10 books.
1 through 700. That's so aggressive.
Oh, it is. And I also found this Savage Tales Conan, art by and painted by Neil Adams, which I plan on getting signed by him at Baltimore Comic Con this year.
Sweet. Nice. That's awesome. That's very nice.
So,
awesome.
Wasn't too bad a haul at that little con today.
Good, man. Good. And you got to meet up with another member and dig in some bins. That's awesome.
Always a good time.
Sweet. So I was out at East Coast for 2 days. Went to East Coast Comic Con in North Jersey, Secaucus, New Jersey. I've been there a couple times now. It gets bigger and bigger every year. So we went out on Friday, and Ink Jedi Juan was there, and Nerdy and Inked, his wife Jen, was also surprised me. They showed up last minute. I thought I was going to be there by myself because they were supposed to go, but they both had to work, and Jen just got a new job and everything. So working hard, pay those bills, But so it ended up being a good time. I spent all day on Friday. They had an amazing guest list. One of George Perez's last con, since he's retired. He's got one more, and that's in Connecticut, Terrificon. But so I went in there with a mission on Friday that I was just going to get a bunch of books signed and witnessed and submit that. That way on Saturday I could just spend the day, digging. Oh, what's good? Alan's on. You're upside down too.
What's up, Spider Alan? There we go.
What's
There
up?
he is.
Nice.
What's up, Alan?
Not much.
Doom
not
Wizard
much.
from the South. What's up, man? How you doing?
I was taking it upside down, just chilling. No, it's not. See, I
All
can't
right.
even do this shit on that work.
His boss fucking with him again.
Always wanna fucking-
So I went in there. Unfortunately, one of the things I brought a stack of books, and when I showed up, I realized that it wasn't CGC, it was a facilitator. So if you know anything about getting signed books done, that or any books graded, that costs you about double what it costs to submit under your own CGC account. So I cut down the amount of books that I was getting done drastically. I went with just and the other side of it also was Marv Wolfman was supposed to be there, but he actually ended up in the hospital before the weekend, so he did not make it. So a little bit of a bummer. I hope he's doing well. It sucks for him. But I ended up getting a Nova 1 signed by Joe Sinnott, and I cracked a Infinity Gauntlet 9/8, and I got I had Starlin already on that, and I got Perez and Rubenstein on there to finish it. So hopefully that comes back as a 9/8. Keep that high grade, but
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Right, Alan, did you go to any cons this weekend?
No.
No. All right. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of people in the South chapter that went to MegaCon. Is that right?
Yeah, they all went to MegaCon. I want to say it was like 3 of us. The con I went to was last weekend.
Oh, okay,
It
sweet.
was Comic Palooza or whatever the fuck.
Oh,
it
that's
was.
dope.
It sucked.
Oh, what, really?
Bro, it sucked. I mean, it was like it's like in a big area, but they had maybe like 4 or 5 places selling comics, and it was just like everything was completely overpriced, and it sucked, man.
Yeah, Pop Culture Con, more like it, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was like the big draw was they had Daenerys from Game of Thrones like doing signings and stuff like that. It was
Okay.
Oh man, I'd like her to sign something for me.
yeah.
So so I was just talking about East Coast, and then the second day we had Wolf Madison and Dollar Bin Bandit, and then a whole bunch of hopefuls were out there. It was a good time, man. We really had some fun, and and I just got a bunch of books, nothing too major. I got some awesome sketches done, so. We were gonna go into talk about some pickups this week. Blake, did you want to start? I know you had some books.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. Shout out to Planet Awesome Collectibles for the Ascender 1 Virgin variant signed by Dust. Always gonna take that where I can get it. And then a little bit of
nice. That's
an
awesome.
eBay get was the another Super Sons 1 variant. Came in a little damaged, but I think a press will take care of it, so I'm not too worried about it. So those are the big ones.
Nice. Matt, what'd you grab from your con?
Oh man, like I said, it was that Savage Tales Conan. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The best one.
Nice.
And I did find this cool Captain America book in one of the dollar bins.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's
that was
sick.
familiar. I think that was the Civil War, Captain America Civil War. One of the promo posters was looking like this.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I thought that was a hot cover. I grabbed that. Then I grabbed a bunch of just random fillers for Amazing Spider-Man. I think I have, a lot. Nothing major. Just, to get me on that 1 through 700.
I got some books in my car I picked up from fucking last weekend.
Nice.
I'll show you. Hold on. I'm trying to fucking sit in my car and talk to y'all, and people like the place next door like coming outside trying to talk to me, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. So I picked up fucking last weekend 2 copies of The Boys, #1.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Picked up some.
Have you
stuff.
have you read that, Alan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's awesome. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I thought. Yeah.
Some Capullo first.
Oh, that's dope.
And then I got Kirkham was there. I got some fucking shit signed by some Kirkham stuff, like the fucking. I guess it's
Back in
kind of hard
Black.
to see, but like Deadpool kills, Marvel Universe again. Picked up a first Deathstroke,
Ooh, that's a
Very
beautiful book.
Nice.
first Nova,
Nice. Coming in with
and
heat.
then a Nightwing. It was hard, man, because a lot of shit was like crazy overpriced, and I'm the
Yeah.
kind of person that like will keep going back, like hoping that the prices have changed and like
Yeah.
haggle like crazy. Like, because to me it was like for all 3 days of the con, it was like $113 for the ticket, and I was just like, I gotta buy something. I can't fucking not leave empty handed. It was too much for me, man.
Those are some good pickups, man.
Absolutely.
Nova's a good move, man. And Deathstroke too. Those books are just going to keep going up.
Yeah.
And it's if that's something you care about and like now's the time to grab it, because those prices are going to get so stupid once, especially if the Nova movie comes, which it's got to. I mean, they already introduced the Nova Corps, right?
It's inevitable.
It's got to be, yeah. So,
I kind of always fuck myself when I buy books like that, so I'll buy them, hold on to them for a while, and then sell them. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, now I don't have that book anymore. And then,
yeah.
like it's like the day that I sold my Hawkman 4, that they like announced that they were gonna do a Zatanna fucking TV show or whatever, and I was like, cool. I should have held on to that a little bit longer. Like, I'm pretty retarded.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's always tough, and sometimes you want to sell books to upgrade to something bigger, right?
I just like money, bro.
Or sometimes you need to pay bills, whatever, man, whatever it is. But yeah, that's dope. So I had a pretty good haul. Mostly what I did was, like I said, I dropped a bunch of money at the CGC booth, so that was tough. I got a Teen Titans 44 signed by Perez. I was going to grab Wolfman on that, but he wasn't there, obviously. And then I got that Nova 1 signed, and I got the Infinity Gauntlet. So I don't know if anybody knows, knows about getting Witness SIGs for CGC. Not only are you paying for the grading process, the shipping, and then you're paying for if you want fast track, if you want to get it pressed, and then on top of that, every single signature, most big stars, big names in in comic books, they charge $20 plus. So
Easily.
right there, just to get the Infinity Gauntlet SIGs, that's $60 right off the top. And I mean that's and then the other two right there, that's $100. With what I paid in SIGs, I probably could have bought another Nova 1. So it gets crazy. But after I did that on Saturday, I decided. The end of the day on Sunday, I stopped by and saw Yannick Paquette was there, and I'm a huge Swamp Thing fan, and I love his paintings, and so I got a commission from him. So that's one of the first things was I got this beautiful watercolor commission from him.
That is.
Yeah. So that was and it was fair, man. He did it. I talked to him on Sunday afternoon, and it was done by noon the next day. And he works pretty fast, and it was gorgeous. I talked to him for a while. And it's a funny thing that I didn't know about him, that he was a music composer for the majority of the first half of his life or professional career. And he said he never read a comic book. He just came to comic books because he likes to tell stories. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I'm happy he came to comic books. On that Swamp Thing kick, I stopped by Mandrake's was there, and he was signing books, artists for a lot of stuff like Spectre and stuff like that. I got books signed for another member, and I just saw this on his desk, the little just a little sketch card. and it just looked so pretty. I had to have it, so I grabbed that. And then I grabbed some books to fill my ASM run too, Matthew.
Oh,
Um,
snaps.
Nothing.
Maybe there's some I need. You can send them my way.
Yeah, maybe it is. Well, I'll just show you these too. These were out there. I unfortunately did not get them signed because I was not going to pay triple price to somebody else's CGC account. So I held off for Baltimore. So two of the first ones I grabbed, I stopped by Zap Comics, which they're out of. They got a couple stores. A lot of our members frequent in North Jersey, and they had this super clean ASM 301.
Ooh.
Very nice.
And I mean, I looked over it. Juan was standing right next to me. We both, looked at it, agreed. It's gorgeous. I'm not going to take it out right now, but if you know about this book, it's really hard to pull in a 9/8. The front is all white and the back is all black. So the back is clean. I looked at that as well, but I'm not going to handle it right now. It is a newsstand. I'm a dork for newsstand editions. So I'm going to get this cleaned and pressed and submitted. It was just, I couldn't, there's a little, I got a little crease right here, but that's definitely pressable. So I'm stoked on that. And then I since it was right next to it, I got the other side was the $3.99, the true first appearance of Venom. I have two 300s already, so I wasn't dropping any of that. But it was sitting right next to it, another newsstand. And I also have the 298, which is the connecting cover. So that's gorgeous. Those were some books that I was super excited about. I'm going to throw this out here just because I found this in a dollar bin. And when I pulled it out, the lady was like, I knew I should have looked through the Moonlight stuff. She was like, she just looked at me and I was like, walked up to her with one book. Cause there's always, everybody picks stuff, like Matt, you go to Spider-Man. I always go, I'm always going to Swamp Thing, Moon Knight, any horror stuff, ASM as well. But I went right to this Moon Knight. There was like 6 books in there, and this was one of them. So I just grabbed this, and I walked up and I handed it to her. I handed her $1, and she's just like, "Damn it!" So that's the first. That's Moon Knight 1. So it's not his first solo story. That's Marvel Spotlight 22, but this is his first first own title. Yeah. So I already have one of these in real clean in a 9/8, and this one's not so clean, but whatever. It's a newsstand I got from a dollar bin.
$1, yeah.
Yeah, so that made my day. Another Spider-Man book I grabbed was just some older Spider-Man. I'm looking to fill 1 through 100, so I grabbed it was a good price, so I grabbed a 34. Yeah, man, Craven, this is a classic cover. So yeah, and then I got a big old stack of Swamp Thing filler issues, just pretty much everything. It's all 50 or above. So pretty much right after Moore, when Rick Vick took over. Yeah, so it was a good con, man, and there's lots of people out there. It was fun.
That's awesome. We did have Guartican at Puerto Rico Comic Con.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sweet.
Yep.
So another East Coast member who's in Puerto Rico. That's part of the East Coast.
I guess it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really.
He had a bunch of pictures, and he was throwing stuff out. He got some great commissions done. I know that.
Yeah, he did. He got signatures too, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he got a bunch of SIGs. I know him. He's a CGC guy, so I'm sure he was standing on those CGC lines like I was.
God, I can't wait. Yeah, I got a stack of Batman Who Laughs books that I want to get CGC'd.
Nice.
I can't wait.
I don't know if you guys hear my dogs going nuts.
This one, I'm definitely excited to get CGC'd.
Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, you've been all about that Batman Who Laughs, huh?
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel like I'm cheating on Spider-Man here, but
okay.
He'll understand.
So yeah, that's it. Anyone who's in the chat who's not familiar, we're always out of cons. If there's a con going on, especially a major one, there's somebody always out there, man. Come say hi. Give us a shout out. Tell us your IG handle, because that's usually how I introduce myself to people.
Get some free stickers.
Get some free stickers, or I got stickers from a hopeful. It was great. I got a car decal. It was great.
I'll be handing these out next con I go to, which will probably be Galaxy Con here in Richmond.
Patches. So moving on, we had Blake. You wanted to talk about Eisner Hall of Famers. We got some big names on there.
Yeah, I think that's a category that doesn't get talked about a lot when it comes to the Eisner Awards and Comic-Con. There's a lot of big names on the list this year, starting with, we have Jim Aparo, Aquaman, Phantom Stranger, Batman and the Outsiders. You have Dave Stevens, creator of The Rocketeer. You've got Brian Boland, artist for the Killing Joke. You've got Kevin Eastman, probably one of the biggest names, arguably, on there. Paul Levitz, another big heavy hitter, and then a surprise, Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's the
big
stoked
one
to see that.
Was stoked about to see a manga creator on there. There are two actually, but I think he's the bigger of note. And I hope we see more of that coming to the West. I think that's really cool. So definitely big news there. There's a bunch more on the list. Go to the comiccon.org site and check out all the categories for everything. See all the nominees. Obviously, you can't vote, but you can always throw out your opinion in the chat or on IG and let us know who you think should be in there.
Yeah, we should definitely throw something up about that.
I think they vote in 4 nominees a year.
So it's four out of those names. Okay.
Yeah, and there's more on the list too, but those are the big
names. Yeah, I mean Eastman. I mean that guy's just who arguably one of the probably did the most for indie comic books. Along with Todd McFarlane, obviously, but he was doing it. He was doing it before most.
I mean, it became a pop culture phenomenon.
I mean, there's not much. You talk about indie books that like become like actual grails. I mean, there's not much out there, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is like, it is part of our culture. It's just as much as most superheroes are. Especially the cartoons and the movies and Vanilla Ice and all that shit. I mean, you got The Walking Dead, right? I guess I don't know that there's too many else that have really made a difference. Brute Force, yeah.
It's not really indie, actually. So
it's not indie, but it's made a. And Steve just pointed out that there's a bunch of members out in Ontario, California, at Comic Revolution as well. I know Alex was out there and a few others. So that's this weekend alone, 4 cons, and there was multiple members at each con, and that's just awesome, and it's we're out there representing and buying books and talking to people, and it's so much fun. That's half the time I go to cons now after getting signatures. It's just to talk to people, hang out, dig through some books. So with the Eisners, I mean Kevin Eastman. What else? I mean, I gotta say, like Jim Aparo, classic Batman artist.
Yeah.
I
wrote on Batman and the Outsiders.
Yeah.
I think that he's probably gonna be one of them in.
Yeah.
Get him a little biased. I hope Akira Toriyama gets the votes.
I mean,
yes,
it's a little bit of a sleeper, but
yes,
it's one of those things.
People agree to.
Yeah, it's one of those things you never know, right? I mean,
unpopular opinion.
Sometimes it just takes with these kind of awards somebody to break through, and even just getting nominated is almost like winning it, right?
Oh yeah.
And then years to come from now, hopefully people start getting in there and all that kind of stuff. So, and then I'm not a huge fan of Dave Stevens, but I mean I know that he's the creator of the Rocketeer, and I mean as far as Golden and Silver Age comic books, he's a god. So I got to imagine that he's going to make it in, but Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Like I
Yeah.
said, go to comiccon.org, check out the other lists, the other award lists too, and let us know who you think should be in. They let in 4 years, so give us your top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. So some other news that kind of took everything by storm this weekend. I think there wasn't a place on social media I could get away from this. But and I'm not sure, but at first it was the casting of the new Batman. Robert what is it, Patterson or
Pattinson.
Pattinson, right? So obviously of Twilight movies. Now I don't know if either of you guys know this. There's the other guy who plays Hank McCoy, who plays Beast from the movies. His name kept popping up as well. So did they actually? Yeah, right. Did they actually cast Robert Pattinson, or is it still up in the air? Does anyone know that for sure?
The majority of sources are saying that he's cast, but then there are some that are saying it's a short list. So I don't know if some are behind or if they just don't want to put it out without, confirmation. But so far the news is that he's Batman.
Interesting.
So what does everybody feel about that? Because I know what the majority of the at least the IG comic community feels about it. What do you guys think?
Say watch something else other than Twilight. He isn't a terrible actor. I think he's a really good actor. Of course, his main focus was Twilight. He has that giant fan base there and everything. But yeah, I've seen some of his other movies and they were really good. It was actually like, man, kicking act. So I don't know. It might be up in the air. Heath Ledger made a great Joker. This dude might make a great Batman.
Yeah. I think you're touching on a lot of things that a lot of people who aren't just being extremely straight out negative from the first sentence are saying. I'm not familiar with him. I've never seen the Twilight movies. I'm not one to judge anyone by their past movies.
Twiligh's pretty cool.
Did you say Twilight's pretty cool? Okay.
I've watched it my life. All right.
Wow, man, you're just digging yourself into a hole. But from what I have I have a lot of I have a lot of close friends that are big into film, and then there's a bunch of members that are big into film, and I heard a lot of people saying that this guy is in some indie movies and he is phenomenal. That he's just his acting is really on point, and that he can do some pretty dark. He's been in some dark roles. So I like you said, Heath Ledger was in a lot of movies. The Brokeback Mountain, and A Night Tale. Although Brokeback Mountain was an amazing, critically acclaimed film. It was. I think it made it to the Oscars, didn't it?
I think it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it garnered the same reaction of. So Mr. Mom is playing Batman,
right? And that's
what it is the equivalent, basically.
Yeah, right, exactly. So you have people that can step from radically different roles. It's been proven. Why not give this guy a shot? And I don't know. The argument to me that Batman's gonna have sparkles is just like, okay, like that's the only thing you could come up with, like because he was in Twilight, like. Just because, like, they're not going to make a glittery Batman. We all know that. And I've always had I've had discussions that I think the best thing, anybody could play Batman, right? You need a dark voice, put on a bunch of a mask, and you need to get jacked, right? But playing Bruce Wayne, that's what makes movies. Like, Michael Keaton was amazing Bruce Wayne. Like, that's what made that movie, in my opinion. I don't know.
It's all about how you look in that tuxedo. There's always a black tie affair in a Batman movie.
Every time. It's
the most expensive part of a movie ever, but they always do it. So you just gotta look good in the tux, and you gotta have the chin. That's it.
I think he's got those things, and he's gonna be the youngest ever cast to play Batman. I've been reading that that they say they're gonna do early Batman. Like I know a lot of people are throwing around the idea that year one's gonna be done,
It gives
which
them longevity.
which would
for
be
a
amazing.
franchise.
Yeah, and it gives them longevity.
It's a smart move. And
Yeah.
like you said, Twilight did not kill his career in the
No,
least bit.
No, it made his
His
career.
track record has been really good since then. And
Yeah.
he's in a movie called The Devil All the Time with one of the Skarsgårds and God escapes me now. But anyway, Captain
Yeah.
America. But Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Oh yeah, right.
And
Okay.
So I mean, he pulls in big names. It's not just indie films. I think he's going to be a fine Bruce Wayne and a fine Batman. Because, like you said, and you just put on the cape and cowl for a little bit, and then a stunt double or CGI is going to do most of the work for the rest of that part.
Yeah.
So,
Good
Danny,
point. This-
Danny in the chat just said that maybe for Batman Beyond. I've heard a lot of people been saying that.
I've seen that as
Terry
well.
McGinnis, and whatever. I mean, still either way, like it's still young. It's still
maybe
young Batman.
5 or 6 years ago, Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson would be a good Terry McGinnis.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a little old for that now.
Yeah, I don't want him to be passing the early high school kind of graduate. But I mean, yeah, it would have been and might still be a good choice. It depends, but I think year one would be good.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be amazing.
Year one film.
I was hearing I heard a couple of, I was talking to a couple of the members and a couple of people outside of the club as well. And some people were just saying, I'm just tired of them trying to they're beating it's beating a dead horse. Just step away from these characters, right? Step away from Superman, step away from Batman. Cause we all know like DC, like Aquaman, Shazam, look what they're doing with those characters, right?
Doom Patrol, again, we talked about this probably the last episode too. You have Doom Patrol, you have Swamp Thing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
People are going to start to get familiar with these characters. It's a whole different take on what's going on, and I think going supernatural is going to be a good way too with it.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I agree. Like you have, you're never going to be Marvel. You're not going to create that thing, and maybe you will one day. But I think their way to go is focus on the standalone movies. Hire different directors for each movie. That way, it's fresh and it's not the same thing every time. And I was saying this to somebody or in one of the chats, I was saying that I want give me the Spectre, give me Jim Corrigan like a crime horror movie. That's what I want to see. I want to see like some street level, supernatural, bring in all that kind of stuff. Like I don't want to say Justice League Dark, but like just bring that element to it, and then you could do some funny, silly movies as well. Like that some campy stuff, whatever you want to do. Like Aquaman was great, with that was the best part was Jason Momoa just cracking jokes. I mean, and it was gorgeous. But
we'll agree to disagree on that one. But
well, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's the best part of the movie, but I'm saying like it, like it,
no, that the movie was good, but
it didn't feel. It didn't feel like.
It felt like natural.
It didn't feel forced at any means. Like that's who he is, and he was playing it right. And I was fine with it. So
I say keep
that's
campy how it was. I think that had a good tone to it, and that they can do plenty with it now that they introduced the whole family. So
I mean, and then you got the Joker, and that just goes. I think I have this feeling. I can't stop watching that trailer. I don't know.
Absolutely not. It's awesome.
I watch that trailer like once a day. I feel like sometimes like it's just I think I hope that movie is so good. Who knows? But
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I have nothing. I just think it looks so good, and like I know that Joaquin Phoenix can be a phenomenal actor, and I think it's just gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the direction they go in because the trailer does leave it very open ended. I know it's its own thing, a solo movie, no Batman or anything. So I'm interested if it's just going to be a one-shot story or if they're going to try to make something of it.
Yeah, I know.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Well, I don't know.
I was thinking about it.
It's one of those things. I hope it's really great, and I hope they just leave it alone. I hope they just do one really awesome movie and then just step away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Look at that.
yeah, someone in the chat, Last Highlander, said I want to see JL Dark. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to see JL Dark. I want to see it 110%. Those are my favorite characters, like Swamp Thing and Phantom Stranger and Zatanna, and to see any of those, Constantine. I mean, God, yeah, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, they're already ruined a Constantine movie, and it's not like you can't reboot it. But
Well, they can salvage it with the show.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So that's the other side is the shows, man. Like they've been between animated series and the shows. That's been the saving grace for Warner Brothers. So I hope they keep that up as well.
Another segue, another saving grace also is their
Right.
animated movies.
So
Hush.
yeah, so Hush is coming out. When's that coming out?
That is coming out July 20th, digital, and August 13th on Blu-ray DVD.
So I will own it digitally. Cool.
Yeah, or at least watch it right away, rent it.
It'll be on DCU if you have the Universe app.
Oh, perfect. That's right. I keep forgetting I have that, and I don't have to rent these movies when they come out. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super stoked about that. Hush is one of my favorite Batman storylines ever. I saw. Did anybody watch the trailer?
Yes.
I have not.
Yeah. It looks good. Hush looks great. His voice sounds awesome. I'm not sure who that voice actor is, but I'm super excited about that. I'll definitely watch that the day it's out. Has anybody seen Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just came out? That another animated. I know that's on the DC streaming app and for download. Has anyone seen that?
No, not yet.
I have not seen that either.
I haven't either. Again, I just want a quick callback. Let's just talk about Kevin Eastman for a second. The fact that there's a Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not only multiple comic book crossovers, but there's animated movies come out, shows just how influential that man was in really bringing creator-owned comics to life. It's just out of this world. I mean, that's like saying if you saw Daryl with Batman, shooting his crossbow. Like, that's just, it would blow your mind. So yeah, I mean, it's the biggest news of the week was the casting of Batman being out at the cons. Gentlemen, got anything else going on?
Shoot.
No? Cons coming
Pikachu
up.
came out last week.
Detective
Cool.
Pikachu, did you see that?
That was a great film.
Was it?
Definitely great
John Wick
film.
on Wednesday, so.
John Wick, right.
John Wick 3.
Yeah, I got to see that.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. Oh, well, Jesus.
But,
Yeah.
You're out of the club.
I will give one quick shout out to a local con coming up.
Yeah.
June 8th and 9th, All-Star Comic-Con in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. Small con, but you're going to have Mike Zeck, Gail Simone, Clayman, and Tom King. You will have CGC there, not somebody who's going to charge a double or triple. You'll have actual CGC there. A few actors and actresses. It's a small thing, but it's going to be real good time. Usually is. If you're in the area or close by, check it out. Definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah. I just a quick touch on that. Like I'm huge for CGC. Like I'm a snob for it. I don't really mess with CBCS, not for any particular reasons other than I just, I like the way a CGC slab looks better personally.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a majority consensus that they're kind of the pinnacle for grading. Even though the dude that was at one of the head graders at CGC started CBCS, the only thing I would ever say is to stay away from PGX. But the process is normally very, very, it's getting better and better at cons, in my opinion. And especially if you have a premium. But for people who don't know, what it's like. I mean, you got to go to the booth. You got to stand online. You have to have somebody. If you're getting signatures specifically, you have to have somebody follow you to the artist booth, get the signatures witnessed. You drop them back off. Then they send them in for grading. Some places have on-site grading, like Baltimore, C2E2, San Diego, I'm sure, New York, I'm sure. But it's a process, and it's expensive. And when it's a facilitator, that just means it's usually a comic book store that comes out, and they're a facilitator, so they use their account, and then they charge you service fees for everything. So everything is just either marked up 25 to 50%. And it costs a lot more money. So
Yes.
so if you're ever going to a con and you want to submit books because you don't have your own CGC, you don't have your own account. First of all, I would say think about how many you're going to do, because you could get a free account for $25 and do it yourself.
Yeah, if
Or
you're
just
getting one or two, then
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
it
If you
that
don't, if you don't do it often, or there's just one book that you really care about. I saw a ton of people at East Coast this weekend, and they were just every single one of them wanted a witness book. They've never done it before, and they all just had Infinity Gauntlet ones, and which I understand 100%. You have the full creative team there, probably for one of the last times ever. So you get all those signatures. It's great, but keep an eye on it, because you don't want to drop a bunch of books that you're just trying to get slabbed up to a facilitator. You only want to use a facilitator if you're getting signatures and you have no other choice. So, on that note, I think, so I just want to again remind everybody that, we're going to end a little early tonight. It's the last episode of Game of Thrones ever. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Mixed emotions. I'm a big GOT fan.
40 minutes, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then, so we're all gonna go. We're gonna leave. We're gonna go watch that, and then around 10:30, we're gonna go live again. Oh yeah, I gotta say this. So Mr. Miracle just brought up that Dwayne the Rock Johnson. There was a leak that he was gonna play Namor. Which I heard that as well, which I just, it doesn't make sense, because they're already talking about him for Black Adam. So
I think he'd make an awesome Black Adam.
I think he's too big for Namor.
That's what I was gonna say. That is a bulk Namor. But
Namor's like tall and like muscular and lean, like he swims, like that's what swimmers look like. Yeah. But that is true.
They could go that more, I guess, Pacific Islander kind of, route
Sure.
that Aquaman went than, but
yeah, still, he stands like 7 foot tall, and it's just like 300 pounds of muscle. It's just
I mean, everybody was saying Momoa was the best Namor they've ever cast for Aquaman. So I mean, I agree. I think that's definitely he kind of has that Namor. If you look a lot of early Submariner drawings, he's got that very. I think that's definitely the way they should go with the casting, but I just don't think somebody that bulky. I think that just you need. I don't. It just doesn't seem like a right fit to me.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're gonna go watch it. So around 10:30, if anybody out there who is a Game of Thrones fan, there's gonna be a few more members that are gonna join us around 10:30. I know Chad from the Canadian chapter, and I think one other person from the Canadian chapter. Alan's gonna be back. I'm sure he had to go to work. And I know that Blake will be there. Matt, you don't watch it, right?
No, I do not.
Well, you're still more than welcome to join us and just let us spoil everything for you, because that would probably be fun to just have you sit in the background. So we're gonna be back here around 10:30. Quick, Blake, since it's just me and you, who's on the throne at the end of tonight's show?
Tyrion.
Tyrion. Wow. All right. I'm gonna say Bran.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about my choice, but I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna say the Batman.
I heard
Who
an
Laughs.
early. You're gonna say Batman Laughs. You would say that Batman
Yeah.
Who Laughs.
It's
Well,
plausible.
we all know if Batman was in Game of Thrones, he would be on the Iron Throne. That is very true. So, all right, awesome. Well, thanks everybody who tuned in. Don't forget to subscribe and like to the page. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and all that, and Comic Book Fiend Club. And if you're hopeful, just keep reaching out. We got October. It'll be here soon. Don't forget that, right? Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.
Gentlemen.
Peace.